What's up, guys? I am back once again, although I just got through streaming because I realized that earlier today while I was at work, I had an interesting conversation and it had to do with physical appearance. And I was having it with a really good colleague of mine who I just feel comfortable telling anything because I know she will never get offended. So, the topic that we were discussing was along the lines of our physical physique as women, and that is that we were getting t shirts, and there was this situation where we realized that no two t shirts are the same. So some of them can be wide and loose fitting below the upper chest area, and then the upper chest area, depending on your volume, you may have difficulties finding a shirt that is best suitable for you. So that got me thinking about some other stuff, and that is, I wonder, when guys supposedly discuss women who they see, I can imagine that they may probably discuss the stereotype that may be slipped subliminally in movies, as in, I like girls who have big behinds and also big twins and stuff like that. So when I think about my experience checking a guy out as a female, I tell myself, you know what? What the hell is there to really see? It's like, even the part of you that's supposed to be exciting and the most entertaining and the most, you name it, it's not like I can be walking around and I'm just going to be staring at a guy's junk, okay? That's not the way it works. Like, if I catch a glimpse of it, it's incidental. It's like maybe I happen to be staring at an item in a grocery store aisle and my eye level is suddenly pointed toward like lower grounds, and then you happen to be crossing by, so of course I'm going to see your lower body, but it is very, very, very rare that that happens. So when I think about it, the best way for me to like propose the question is, are men just a plain sight? Like, nothing about you stands out to us, at least for me individually as a female. Well, one of the things that I pay attention to, if you are a guy who I am dating, is your hands. I like for your hands to be bigger, thicker, and preferably drier than mine, as in having a little bit of a rough texture, and that is achieved via calluses. And to me, calluses tell me that you are someone who works with his hands, and usually folks who develop these tend to be strong guys, better built on average. So something about that just screams to me masculinity. Another thing that I like to notice in a guy, and it's just inevitable, is just like you guys have posted in the comment section and told me regularly, or I see guys and other people's comment sections leaving messages, is the smile. And it's not necessarily that you need to have perfect teeth, because I fucking know that I do not have perfect teeth, but it's the fact that they are clean. Like, if you have yellowy teeth, it's like, okay, if you are almost looking golden, then that's kind of a turn off. But basically, the more clean looking, the better. So when it comes to gaps in the teeth, I'm not a big fan of it, even though I have it myself. I am not a fan of the gap between my teeth. Let me tell you that much. But when it comes to a guy, I just like for the teeth to appear to be neat. And of course, please do have a fresh breath, because my sense of smell is just out of this world. So, yeah, if you have a nice smile, I'm pretty much going to be distracted by it. And another thing that I tend to notice, and it's because before I make eye contact with a person, I tend to look at the center of your face. It's the nose. When it comes to noses, it's kind of difficult because I personally have enjoyed guys who come from all kinds of races, all kinds of backgrounds, all kinds of, yeah, physical appearances. And I can understand that there are certain traits that are going to appear in certain like races and not others. So like for instance, I cannot expect for a brother to have a European nose when that is just not their thing. In fact, I don't have a memory of me ever seeing a brother who has a perfectly taco shaped nose with a side profile. See what I mean? So it's like I understand that that trait belongs to like pale people because it looks better on pale people. And I have met one white person who has a thick nose, and it was the weirdest thing ever for me. But at the same time, it's like, you know what? It's all right. I don't mind it. It's just the nose that this person has. And me trying to imagine this person without that thick nose, it's like it would completely change the shape of your face. But preferably, I like noses that tend to be like European style, which is like triangle shaped. You can just see it from a side profile. But if you have a thick nose, it's like whatever, it's the nose that you have, right? But it's just that it's amazing how many different types of noses there are. And the one nose that absolutely terrifies me is the nose that looks like a bird's beak. And that is the one that's like pointing downward for some reason. It's like curving and pointing down, really weird. Or the one that has like steps. You guys know what I'm talking about? It's like it has bumps. It's weird. It's like I do not find that super attractive at all. And it's not like wow, I would completely reject someone who has a nose like that. It's just that I'm kind of a symmetry and smoothness freak. I don't like for things to appear wrinkled, even though I'm getting used to my clothes just being wrinkled from how badly I fold them. But something about noses that look like that, like parrots, beaks, it has always freaked me out as a kid, and it still freaks me out as an adult. But once again, noses is not something that you actively choose or decide upon when you're being like like at the time of conception. So I'm not going to penalize you for that because I wouldn't like for you to penalize me over having, I don't know, brown eyes or something. So, see what I mean? Another thing that may stand out to me in a guy is hair, and it's because if you have a man bun, I am just not interested in you. And if you have long hair, if you can put it on a ponytail, I'm kind of turned off by that because I'm like, I'm the girl. I'm the one who's supposed to have long hair. But I also understand that back in the day, there was like a tradition associated with a guy having long hair. And I have heard that there's people who let the hair grow until someone significant to them dies or something. So, but for me, for the sake of pleasing me, I think that short hair is the absolute definition of masculinity. And if you have hair that kind of like flows and can be blown by the wind, and it's like no lower than your neck, like maybe brushing your shoulders, that's kind of tolerable, but keep it like sparingly is good. And when it comes to afros, I kind of dig them because it's like poofy and whatnot. So it's like it's cool, but I think my ideal hairstyle is one that's trimmed. Like You're not bald, obviously. Like bald, I don't like it at all. Like no. I like hair. I like to be able to run my fingers through some fibers at the top of your head, all right? But if you don't have that, I'm not going to like completely decline you because I have had crushes on two bald guys in my life. But it's definitely not going to be the thing that I gravitate towards. And I would probably try to encourage you to somehow make hair on your scalp happen. And of course, this is very obvious, but it's worth noting. Another thing that I can notice instantly that can captivate me is your body shape. So, I'm not going to sit here and say that I expect the perfect body from you when I don't have a perfect body for sure. But I like to see that you're at least building or are built in some type of way and have something to you, some muscle to you beyond the one that's entertaining, if you know what I mean. So I just like to see a physique, one that demonstrates that you have strength, resistance, that you are some kind of athlete, that you have power to you, and I can see that at plain sight. See what I mean? But but if there's like a roundness to your body, again, I'm not going to completely reject you because I know that I'm a fucking donut hole here and there. But at least you can tell that I work on it more often than not. And anytime I gain weight, it's because I'm letting my emotions take over and I'm eating a lot of sugar and junk that I shouldn't be eating. But at least at some point I regain control. But if your body shape tells me that you're absolutely undisciplined and you lack control and you have the poorest diet choices, I am not interested in you because I don't need for my man to be like borderline dying a few years down the line. Of course, I'm exaggerating right there and then, but what I am trying to say is that I like to see that you are physically active and not just in the fun way. But I just like to see that masculine build that you guys can achieve. You're significantly bigger than me, you're significantly stronger than me. So I want to be able to see that and squeeze that and hold it and feel it. I want to see them lines on your arms and your bicep going like so for me to like use as a pillow and shit. So yeah, I just like to feel muscle when I hug you. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying you need to have like a Thor body from before Endgame, but I'm just saying that I like to admire that body, God given attribute of yours. In the same manner that you can admire me, I can admire you. So, another thing that's weird, but maybe it's not rare, that I like in guys is the smell. Do you have a musky smell to you? I like that. And even if you are sweating and you can have the smell of a filthy dead animal, something about it I can find hot, but once again, sparingly. Not all the time. Please do have some hygiene. But occasionally having your natural smell on a terribly hot ass day is hot. So I'm not going to say that you probably find that attractive about women. I'm pretty sure that you like us neat and tidy and all glossed up, maybe smelling like fresh produce when we come out of the shower, right? But at the same time, when it comes to y'all, I can appreciate a dirty guy once in a while. Again, sparingly. Moderation is key. But your natural scent is great. But also, if you pick the right cologne and apply it, once again, sparingly, you'll gain some points because let me tell you, they did their research and definitely sampled the right group of women when determining what kinds of scents will trigger our pheromones in a very pleased manner. That's all I have to say on that one. And of course, I just got through talking about physique, but the specifics about physique that stand out to me the most are arms and chest. But this is very important. If you have arms and chest, please do not neglect your legs because I'm tired of guys who have legs who are like as thick as my arm. And what I mean by that is that you work on your upper body and you're all buff and stuff, but for some reason you have toothpick legs. What's the matter? Don't forget about your legs. And I see these people more often than not at the gym. It's like you look like you look like an upside down pear. It's like you go like this. Please don't forget your legs. I'm just saying. Like try to keep your body as uniform as you can. Like arms are developed, chest is developed, legs are developed. Maybe some parts of you develop at a faster rate than others. Like for me, I cannot develop my shoulders to save my life. I cannot develop my chest to save my life. My back, it's like I'm an ironing board. I'm flat. But you know, at least don't forget about your legs because for me, the thing about my legs that can use some work are my calves. But other than that, I got some thigh action, I got some hamstrings, I got some quads, I got a little bit and in progress of calves. So just don't be that guy who's like the rest of you is awesome, but for some reason your legs are just not developed. So just a little bit of a hint and tip to maybe put you ahead in the game when it comes to us examining you, especially from a distance. If you want to stand out, just we like symmetry, and I imagine that you like that too. So for you to be incredibly slim down there and up here, it's it works, but it gets old at some point. So again, I'm not trying to be like very, very harsh and specific. Again, like usually I fall for someone's personality more than physically, but I'm talking about on a regular day to day basis, if I were to admire physical bodies and shapes and what I may notice in a guy, these are some things that stand out to me. Well, guys, that pretty much does it for me. So I am going to catch up with your comments now. And then eventually I'll have to just leave. And another thing worth mentioning before I forget is your prose. How you express yourself via spoken means. It really stands out to me. Maybe because I like to write and I like to speak and do this streaming thing. So occasionally I can throw my very elaborated speeches out there, but just as long as you can hold a conversation that actually gets somewhere as opposed to you really beating around the bush and not really having anything to add or contribute, or a conversation runs very, very short with you, or you seem disinterested because maybe you're not disinterested, but you're just not very informed about a topic, that's fine. But if you're consistently not knowing how to put a sentence together, that can be a little bit of a turnoff if we are having a conversation and socializing directly. So I would say be wary of that. I'm not saying have a dictionary on you or like be a thesaurus, but at least make sure that you can express yourself somewhat and make sense. Because for some reason, communication skills in the second decade of the 21st century has really left me wishing for more. I'm just saying. Flex is on us. Yep. Muscles. Yep. Gaps look cute. All right. We have someone who is a fan of gaps. That's awesome. I cannot really say the same. But if you like gaps, then yeah. I would zoom into my teeth, but you do not want that. Perfect nose. Check out the Ethiopians and Somalis, Indians from India. I have seen that, come to think of it. And you're right, they do tend to have very like profile noses. I'm still a fan of European taco noses though. Greasy hair is my pet peeve. Oh my god. On the note of greasy hair, that is kind of a tricky matter to deal with because I personally have a scalp that is producing oil eternally. So it's kind of difficult to maintain a hair that naturally produces a lot of oil without being greasy. But I have been able to find formulas and shampoos that work really well at getting rid of that, let's call it the grime in my hair. So so at least it's much better now than it was when I was a teen. When I was a teen, my glasses would look cloudy all the time when I would wear my hair loose, and that's why if you look at younger pictures of me, my hair was usually tied. So now that I know how to take care of my hair and deal with it, it's much better now. And then I find that it's still shiny, and you can see that it has a little bit of a gloss to it, but it's not oily. So it's just awesome. I remember how bad it could get to the point that I could smell my scalp from like right here. That's just bad. And I could be washing my hair every single day. But I get you on the note of greasy hair. It's like, ugh. You don't want to touch grease. It's like when you're done eating fries and all that type of thing, fried chicken or something, you don't go around just touching surfaces, right? So same thing with your hair. You wouldn't want to be contaminated like that. Marco asks if I have a car. Yes, I am the proud owner of the car that I wanted as soon as I set my eyes on it, and to this day I still drive and hope to drive for a couple more decades. A gap is cute on females, but not so cute on guys. Your gap is splendid. Gap! All right, guys. Well, it's been a pleasure discussing this with you. I hope that you guys are not too frustrated by my opinion on this matter. Don't take this too seriously. This is just a thought that I had. It was inspired by a discussion I had earlier about the female body and fitting into shirts with a colleague. So then I said, you know what? When I get into girl talk, what is it that I find remarkable on guys? And I thought that I would share it with you because I'm sure you would find that interesting. I'm pretty sure some of you guys might have been curious about that. And if you were not curious about that, I have brought that to your attention. You're welcome. Hey, Jordan.